Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. I'm glad that you are joining me here today. First off, I want to say trigger warning to anyone. This story will be around sexual assault. So if that's not something you're into, please advance the video 10 minutes and we'll be done with it and get to some other stories. And I know that this isn't really fun to talk about on a Monday morning, but ladies and gentlemen, I gotta talk about something that's been bothering me. And I think it's high time we address this head on. Now, I'm all for commemorating important figures in history, but there are just some decisions that have me just scratching my head. I'm talking about President Biden's plan to create a national monument to Emmett Till. Now, before you all jump on me, let me be clear, all right, for all the dummies watching, okay? Emmett Till's murder was a horrific tragedy. There's no denying that. But let's not forget some context, okay? Till was accused of inappropriate behavior toward a woman. And while he may have been a victim of a brutal murder, it doesn't change the fact that he was accused of sexual assault. Now, I know we live in a time where we're reevaluating our history, we're holding people accountable for their actions, and that's a good thing. But let's not throw all logic out the window in the name of political correctness. We can condemn the violence that Till endured without turning a blind eye to the accusations against him. I mean, think about it. Would we be okay as a country with a national monument to someone who committed violence against women? I don't think so. So why should we treat this situation any differently? We need to be consistent in our principles and not let emotion cloud our judgment. And don't even get me started on the message it sends to survivors of assault. Creating a monument to someone who was accused of sexual assault, no matter how tragic their fate, could be incredibly hurtful and dismissive to those that have experienced that trauma. Look, I'm not saying we should erase history or forget about Emmett Till's story. It's essential to learn about our past and ensure that such injustices never happen again. But we also need to be mindful of the signals we're sending and the values we're upholding as a society. I know it's a delicate issue and people may have differing opinions. Let's have an honest conversation about this. We can honor the memory of Emmett Till without immortalizing him as a national monument. There are other ways to commemorate his story and contribute to the fight against racial injustice without ignoring the accusations made against him. So let's think this through, America. Let's just not rush into decisions that might send the wrong message or compromise our principles. It's time to have a real discussion about what kind of values we want to uphold and the legacy we want to leave behind. And that's my 2 cents. Let's keep the conversation going because that's where real progress is all about. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best damn censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Okay. So here's the thing, right? We have this story, do the scare quotes there, about Emmett Till. And chances are what you've heard about it is only part of the story. Now, everything that I'm saying is not controversial at all. In fact, the trial, right? It was a public trial of the men that killed him. And that's public record. Anybody can look this up if they want to. Okay? You can take anything that I say here. You can fact check me. Okay? It really bothers me when we're telling only a small part of the story. A small part of the story. this is the way that it's presented, okay? What's presented is, oh, this young boy, black boy. See, now I'm not, can I even say a black youth? Right? I don't want to use the wrong term here. Walked into a country store, and this is what we're told. And he whistled at a white lady, and that racist white lady got so mad, she told the store owner, and the store owner gathered up a couple people, and they hunted him down, and they lynched him because they're racist. That's the story that we're being presented. Does that sound at all accurate? In any world, does that sound like this? That's what would happen? No, that's not what happened. What happened was, according to the court testimony, right? He went into a store. There is a little tiny woman working there. Mother, I think she had 4 children that were in the back of the store. Came around the counter, grabbed her by the waist, told her, "Don't be scared, I've effed white women before." That's the testimony that she gave. Came around the corner, grabbed her. She screamed, fought him off. He exited the store. She told the owner of the store what happened, and he went and hunted him down, and they murdered him. Now, there is some dispute as to everyone that was involved in the lynching, right? There's reports that it was the 2 white men that were convicted, but there's reports that there were also black men with them in that group. They were never tried. But you'll hear this BS story where people will say, "Oh, she recanted her testimony." No, she didn't. She didn't. She passed away earlier this year, and she never changed her story as to what happened. And that's the only witness that we have, because Emmett was killed. So the only witness that we have to this crime told us what happened. She was a victim of sexual assault. Okay? Now, what happened to him? Yeah, terrible. Shouldn't be murdered. Should have gone to trial, right? We shouldn't have vigilante justice. That's not a good thing. He was not some innocent person who was a victim of racism. Okay? Now, could they have been racist? Perhaps. Maybe. I'm not disputing that. Was racism the main cause of this? Or was the cause of this that he sexually assaulted this guy's employee at the store, and he took revenge on him? Well, he didn't do that to any other of the black people that came to the store every day. Only this one. Huh. Maybe it had to do with the fact that Emmett Till sexually assaulted his employee. Yeah. So I understand that this was a story, and this helped charge the civil rights fight. I get that. But we shouldn't be celebrating a criminal like this. We shouldn't be celebrating someone that sexually assaulted someone, or allegedly, right? We shouldn't be celebrating them. There are other ways that we can do it. Now, I know that the national monument is going to be to Emmett Till and I believe his mother, right? Make the monument to his mother. His mother came out and did a lot of things for civil rights and everything. Make it to his mother. Don't make a national monument to someone like this. It is just, it's horrible. You know? And what does this do to people that are victims of sexual assault? It's like, guess what? We now got a monument of someone that did this. And you're still the victim. Yeah. Now, something else I want to clear up. People will use this trick. The media use this trick. They say that it was reported that the victim in the woman in this recanted her story. Not true. Not true. But what happens is someone can write a story, make that claim, then when they get called out on it, they can retract the claim, which is what happened. But now everybody in the media can say it was reported that she recanted her testimony. It was reported. So they're technically not lying because someone did report it at one time and then that was retracted. Okay? But that's a lie too. That's a lie too. She never changed her story. Ever. And the people that say that she did, they have gone back and they've changed the story on that. So, yeah, this is a tragic story all around. But we shouldn't celebrate this person just because he was the victim. Okay? And one might argue, not me, one might argue that what happened to Emmett Till was a direct result of his actions, not the color of his skin. The color of his skin might have played into it, but what happened was a direct result of his actions. Now, I know that analogies are not really persuasive for people, but I'm just going to make up an analogy here, okay? Let's say you're black, you're driving 110 miles on the freeway, and you get pulled over, okay? By a racist cop. And the racist cop wrote you a ticket. Well, he could have been a racist cop. Perhaps, right? The reason that you got pulled over is not because you were driving while black. It was because you were driving 110 miles an hour. Okay? If you can't make that distinction, if you can't make that distinction, I feel sorry for you for having such a small brain that you don't have the logic, that you can't understand any context. I really feel sorry for you. If you're that simple-minded that you cannot distinguish these things, I don't know what to say. I can't help. I wish I could. I wish I could help. You know, we are making changes in this country, and I think that, yes, some things, some monuments should come down. Some. There was a school in the country somewhere. Maybe I taught at it. Maybe it was an all-black school, and it was named after a Confederate general. And when I taught there, I thought, this is terrible. We should not have a school named after a Confederate general, especially an all-black school. This is horrible. Well, they've changed the name of that school since. But to turn around and elevate this person who, by all accounts, was just not behaving very well, just because that they were a victim of murder, that doesn't mean you get your own statue. I don't want to see an Emmett Till statue. I don't want to see a George Floyd statue. And frankly, this does a disservice to blacks and to women. And yes, I'm a white guy. Should I be talking for blacks or talking for women? Well, probably not. But I'm not seeing anyone else do it, so that's why I'm doing it. Okay? Um, I can come up with a list of 1,000 Black Americans that would be much better represented as a national monument than Emmett Till. Yeah, absolutely. And if you can't do that, maybe you need to learn a little history about this country, because there are so many people that have worked toward making this a better country and a better world that we don't need to elevate people like Emmett Till. Anyway, that's my take on it. I do have a couple other stories, trying to turn it around, have some positive stories after this one. So we're going to talk about Twitter. I mean, X. We're going to talk about rice. We're going to talk about kid bartenders. And we're going to talk about a breakthrough in electric cars. So let's get to some more uplifting stories, shall we? Well, hang on. Here we go. Did you hear the latest from Elon Musk? Well, he has rebranded Twitter. The Bluebird logo is getting the boot, and he's replacing it with a big fat X. I guess he got tired of tweeting and decided to go all mysterious and algebraic on us. X marks the spot for this guy's grand vision, right? So Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, announced that the company is changing its logo, removing the blue bird that's been its symbol. He aims to transform Twitter into an AI-powered global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities called X, which will include payments, banking, audio, video, and messaging. The change comes, amid competition from Threads by Meta. However, Musk's previous changes to Twitter have not been successful in improving its financial performance. Despite this, he remains optimistic about the platform's future. So as of today, yeah, they've changed it. X.com. You can still go to Twitter.com to find it, but now it's called X. And this is going to be like an all-in-one app. That's what Elon has been talking about, making it an all-in-one app. Do everything. It's pretty ambitious, but I would say that Musk has been ambitious with a lot of things. You know, modern day Renaissance, man. He's really done so much with the SpaceX and the Tesla and the Boring Company. All of those things. Pretty incredible. So I'm all for it, you know. And just my hot take on all the people complaining that they don't like that he can change Twitter. If you are a person that believes that we should honor people's pronouns, right? And if someone wants to be called they, that you call them they, right? Then this guy can change the name of his company, right? It's his company. He can change the name of it, right? It seems so silly to have a fit about changing the name of a company. It's not your company. He's losing billions of dollars a year on this company. He should be able to call it anything he wants to, right? I just find this hilarious that a lot of people on the left are whining about the name change and, oh, it's not going to be that button blue anymore. I did look that up. That particular color of blue is called button blue on the color charts. Anyway, so I'm excited about this, and I'm excited to integrate X more. Now we still have to come up with, what are we going to call it? Is it a tweet? It's not going to be a tweet. Is it an X? I don't know. What are we going to call those things? But I'm sure this will all come about shortly. I think it's exciting. If you are on X, follow me. I don't tweet a whole lot, but when I do, it's pretty good. I'm worth a follow, perhaps. Anyway, that's another way that you can contact me as well. You can send me a message over on X. So anyway, now let's get to a story that involves one of my favorite foods. Uh, you know what's rice and wrong at the same time? India's ban on non-basmati white rice exports. It's like they're saying, sorry, world, you can't have our delicious rice anymore, and you'll just have to settle for some plain old tasteless rice. That's not all, folks. They're causing a global rice crisis, making it the ultimate racist move. Now, countries are scrambling like crazy, searching for alternatives. Come on, India, share some rice love with the rest of us. So here's the story. India has banned the export of non-basmati white rice to control rising food prices. This move could reduce global rice supplies and increase prices, impacting countries dependent on Indian rice, like Bangladesh and Nepal. Speculation in the rice market may exacerbate the situation, adding to already high prices caused by geopolitical events. So I did see that there were some runs on rice recently. And as luck would have it, I just ran out of rice. And I like to buy my rice. I typically get a 25-pound bag. That's the best deal for me. I prefer jasmine rice. That's what I think is the tastiest for me. So I prefer jasmine rice. But I think after the show today, I'm going to go and get myself a bag before this runs out. You know, if we have a run on rice, we're in trouble, you know, and I probably have rice probably 3 days a week. You know, I typically will have about a third of a cup uncooked. And if you're making rice, if it's something that you don't do all the time, you want to wash your rice. You absolutely want to rinse your rice and make sure it will get off any contaminants that are in there, any like microplastics, things like that. It will also wash off a lot of the starch. So you want to be sure to wash your rice before you cook it. Don't just throw it in the pot. But just letting you know, get ahead of the game because, you know, when there was a run on Sriracha, right, the hot sauce, good luck. I've not been able to find any. I wish I had bought more than one bottle when the shortage started. So if you're low on rice and that's something you're into, be sure to go out and get some rice before it all disappears, and you can thank me later. Next up, we got a little fun story. States are letting teenagers serve alcohol now. Yeah, so remember, next time you order a drink, be nice to your bartender. They may still have a curfew. But I cracked myself up. States are reducing child labor protections, including lowering the minimum age for serving alcohol in bars and restaurants. At least 9 states introduced bills to lower the alcohol service age, with 7 states already enacting them. The restaurant industry supports these changes due to hiring challenges. However, labor experts warn this puts teenagers at risk and increases child labor law violations. This trend is part of a larger rollback of child labor protections across the U.S. So obviously, this is a joke, of course, the little kid serving alcohol. But I don't see why teenagers should not be allowed to serve alcohol in a restaurant. Typically, you know, the kind of jobs you get, you're working at a Pizza Hut or something like that. And it's such a pain if you are under 21, if you're not allowed to serve the beer. So you can take the order for the beer, but then you have to have somebody else pour it and then deliver it to the table for you. That's just a hassle. I don't even know why this is a law, right? I get it. If the law is you can't drink until you're 21, well, you can't drink, but you should be able to, you know, bring a beer over to a 50-year-old that's sitting at a table, right? Come on. This is just an unneeded regulation as far as I'm concerned. And I was trying to remember, but I grew up in New Mexico when I was a teenager, and I think that we could serve alcohol at 18, I believe. But I didn't even look this up before the show. I should have. But I just remember that. But in New Mexico, everything was lower, right? You could get your driver's license at 14 years and 9 months when I was a teenager. So, you know, they let things go a little bit younger there than a lot of the country. But for me, this is a good thing. I don't even know about the 21 to drink. I kind of think that that's a silly regulation. In fact, I think it probably has a lot of unintended consequences, right? Because if you have to drink in private because it's against the law, then you might not be as responsible. I think kind of the way Europe does it's a little bit better. That way you can introduce kids to alcohol at a younger age, show them how to be responsible with their alcohol, and then they would probably not be as rebellious and going so crazy with the booze when they're teenagers. That's my take. We can have different opinions. That's okay. But I would, I think, in my opinion, you should be able to drink, like, if you, with your parents at 15. Seems okay. You should be able to buy it at 18. That's my opinion, but whatever. But I think this is a good thing. And you're going to make a lot more money as a kid. You know, if you're able to serve alcohol, get those big tips. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know about that. And last, we need some good news, so I've got some good news for you. You know, folks, Toyota just announced they're making a battery breakthrough that could cut in half the weight and cost of electric vehicles. It's like they're on a mission to make EVs as sleek and affordable as their cars are reliable. But hey, let's hope they don't need to recall like they did with the 2,700 electric vehicles last year. Whoops. Guess they're trying to recharge their reputation with all of those batteries. So here's the story. Toyota claims to have made a breakthrough that could cut in half the weight, size, and cost of batteries for electric vehicles. They've simplified the production of advanced solid-state batteries, potentially reducing charging times and increasing driving range. If successful, it's a big if, this could be a game changer for EVs, making them more efficient and appealing. Toyota claims to manufacture these batteries for EVs by 2027. So you might want to wait a couple years before buying your new car. Perhaps. You know, that's one of the big issues with electric vehicles. They just don't have the range that you would like them to have. Now, 98% of the time, we're not traveling cross country. We're not traveling that far. In fact, if you can get, 400 miles or whatever here in Portland, like I could drive to Seattle, right? But then I'd have to charge it there somewhere before driving back. But I think with these new batteries, they're saying that they can get like almost 800 miles on a charge. That's some pretty awesome range. And by making the vehicles weigh less, that's going to have a lot less wear and tear on the roads. So that'll be better for our roads, better all around, right? Should be safer as well. So that's some good news. I just wanted to end it with some good news. I know I started off today with something a little too serious, but frankly, that story really bugged me. So is what it is. Anyway, stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all your comments on Rumble and on YouTube. And I will see you mañana. Have a beautiful day. Peace. Here we are. Thanks for sticking around in the after show. Thank you for hitting that like button. I did finally pass a milestone on Rumble. I now have over 1,000 likes. Should have got them a lot quicker, but hey, we're on the road here. We got over 1,000 likes over on Rumble. Let's keep it going. Let's hit the like button if you like what I do. I appreciate that greatly. Duggo checking in. Hello, hello. Gonzo the Good says, AIU did a great review of this, talking about the Emmett Till case. One more criminal being celebrated, just par for the course, reminds me of Jacob Blake. And Gonzo the Good hit me up with $5 saying, glad to catch you live. Well, thank you, Gonzo, for catching me live on Rumble. I do appreciate that greatly. Yeah, AIU has done work on this. A lot of his stuff is censored, and it's hard to find. But he is a very good creator. Not for everybody. But I do watch him on censored.tv. That is a, I guess, that's a network that you can subscribe to. And they have a lot of good content, in my opinion. Let's check out what's happening on YouTube. Apothecary John checking in. Lucid Moments checking in. Got all the fun emojis. What's up, Natasha? Trigger warnings are for the younger generation. Yes, I understand that. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to start anyone's Monday off with some negativity like that. In fact, I would have held off on doing this story till tomorrow, because I think that's when it's officially going to be announced. But what I wanted to do was tell you a little bit about the story of what happened, because the media is only telling about half the story, just so that you understand the context of what happened in that case, especially when it becomes big news tomorrow. Wait, I thought he just whistled and offered a compliment. Did I miss something? Is this piece dripping with sarcasm and I'm oblivious? Well, it's really hard to catch sarcasm in text, so I'm not sure if you're serious with that, Natasha. But yes, it was a lot more than just whistling. And if you're being sarcastic, then you know. But that's what we hear. And it's terrible, because there really are, if we want to celebrate or if we want to draw attention to civil rights, there are so many good examples that we can use. And just over the past couple of years, especially with Black Lives Matter and whatnot, it seems like we're elevating people that have done some really heinous things. And I don't think that those are the people that we should elevate and celebrate. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't be treated with humanity and respect. I get that. But let's stop elevating terrible people. Let's see. Does this fit with the theme of try that in a small town? Well, pretty much. This was a small town, right? And yeah, if you go into a store and sexually assault a woman, I don't know, what do you expect to happen? Not saying it's right, but what do you expect to happen? I don't get this. We can take down the Founding Fathers statues, but we can put up this. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. And, you know, if this were a little bit more complex, you know, like let's say Emmett Till were a scientist who made a breakthrough scientific discovery, yet he also sexually assaulted someone, well, then we can have that debate, right? He did some good, he did some terrible things. Maybe we can have a statue, maybe not. That's up for debate. But I can't see any good thing that he did, right? He seemed to be terrible. And that's not the kind of person that we should have statues of, much less a national monument. I'm absolutely disgusted by this. I don't really get it. Okay, after changing the name of the school, did that make everything all better? I'll wait. Yeah, the school was named after a Confederate general. They changed the name. I've looked it up. It's still probably in the first percentile of test scores, meaning the worst percentiles. But this school was a very, very tough school. When I taught there, I was there 2 years. But when I was there, I didn't have a single student that had 2 parents at home. I didn't have one in both years. And, you know, I had some crack babies that were in the class. You know, I had a number of kids whose fathers were incarcerated. I had a number of students whose mothers were prostitutes and drug addicts, and it was a tough place. It was a real tough place. But yes, they symbolically changed the name of the school. Did it make anything better? I don't know, but I understand, right? Now this is my opinion. I don't think we should have any celebration of Confederate generals. You lost, right? You lost. I guess people in the South can determine what they want to do for that. And I guess technically, you know, I'm from Mississippi, so, so I can't have an opinion on this. But yeah, anyway, it's tricky, but I find this Emmett Till thing just really, really disgusting. Makes sense. Keep their own. Makes sense to keep their own rice to feed their own people. That does make sense. Rice and wrong dad jokes. Yeah, I couldn't help it with the bad puns today. Yeah, the puns aplenty. Racist. Eye roll. I know, right? Like, some of these jokes are bad. They're bad jokes. But they they give me joy. So I'm hoping that to pass that with you. I watch Brett Weinstein for the puns. I did not know that he does a lot of puns. I'm unaware of that. I don't watch a whole lot of Brett Weinstein. I think he's an interesting guy, kind of droll, in my opinion. I guess the price of Nissans is going to go up now. Sriracha. Yeah, there are different ways of saying it, and there is some dispute on the pronunciation of that particular hot sauce. So I'm not making that up. Served by young'uns. You know, it's funny with the kid bartender. I had this idea years ago. I don't know if you remember, Sony had some products like My First Walkman, but Sony would make these products, and they were like My First, and they like a cassette recorder. You know, my first cassette recorder, and it was plastic, and it was bright and colorful and everything. And years ago, I thought it would be really funny to have like a My First bartending kit, right? Where you could have like a little shaker, a little plastic shaker, and a strainer, and a little. But I don't know. I think some people would buy it. I would get it. I would get it for my kid. I think he should have a little, you know, and then a little waiter's apron, and maybe a little plastic bottle opener. I think it'd be cute. Uh, uh, when my drink sucks, they'll say, give him a break. He's 12. I would have learned to brew beer at 10 instead of how to make cookies had I known that were an option. Well, that is an option. And, it's also good. I think it's a good thing for kids to learn how to brew because you have to be very clean, right? It's very important that you sanitize everything really well or you're going to have issues. You have to measure things very precisely. You learn about the science of it. You learn about taking temperatures and measurements and all kinds of things. I think it's a great experience for a kid. I think kids should be able to start brewing beer whenever they want to. Let's see. I'll do a hybrid. That's as far as I go. I get it. I just quit driving a walk or bum a ride now, says Natasha. Okay. I just couldn't I couldn't live here in Portland without a car. I just can't. It would be too hard. I could live in a big city. If I lived in a big city and I lived in an apartment building and I were downtown and I could go places on a bicycle and use mass transit, I would prefer that. I don't like driving at all. And, if I wanted to, rent a vehicle to, go for a hike or drive to the coast or something, I would do that. But it's pretty much impossible to live, I think, in Portland, especially if you're in the suburbs without a car. So I get it. What is AIU? AIU is a content creator. His name, that's short for Atheism is Unstoppable. And he makes, originally he made videos about atheism and then got into making videos. And many of them center around, it's a wide variety of things. But in this particular case, he looks at historical things and also looks at new cases in justice, and often that the cases are not presented based in reality. Let's just put it that way. So you might be able to, if you do some searching, you might be able to find some of his stuff on YouTube, but his channel has been removed. He's doing stuff on in private now, but you can find him on Twitter. He posts some of his videos there, or you can find him on X now, right? I asked about sarcasm before you had gotten to the unheard part of the story. Thanks for providing that. Aha. Cheers, CNN. Well, cheers to you, Ronan. I appreciate you. What's up? Anyway, that's the show that we have today. I'll be back tomorrow with more good stuff. Let me know. Are you on X? Get on X. I think even if you're not into it yet, I really do think that Elon is going to expand this app, and I think that more and more things will be available there. Video, audio, all kinds of stuff. I believe eventually they'll have some payment systems and all kinds of stuff. It might become a new Amazon as well. I think that he wants this to be an all-in-one app. So if you're not going to get on board today, I think eventually you will. So it's something to check out. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Hope you have a beautiful day. It just started raining here in Portland, and frankly, we needed a little rain. It's been really dry, so that's nice to see. I'll see you next time. Peace.